Most holy God, we come to you today grateful always for another day, grateful to serve those that we serve. Lord, we thank you for what you have called each and every one of us to. Bless this food that has been prepared for us. Bless the hands that have prepared it, and may this food nourish us as we go out and nourish those in our care and one another. We pray all of these things, Almighty God. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
It will be in 10 minutes, close enough. So first, I want to start off by thanking Barbara, Diane, and Joni for putting it, and even Dustin, for putting in a momentous effort into this presentation. This was definitely a team effort, and we took some old presentations and we reworked them, and then we got some feedback and we reworked them again. We've been reworking this all the way up to the 11th hour. So I hope you enjoyed today's presentation about service excellence. And I wanted to thank everybody that's done this with me for the last couple of years. It's been me doing it, and so it's really nice to have a team to do it with me and have everybody's input. It's great to see. So thank you guys. Appreciate you. All right, we will get started. So, you'll recognize, if you've been here for the last couple of years, you'll recognize some of these slides, and you'll see some new ones. Done this a couple of times. Spent a lot of time in the field of hospitality, where service excellence is a big part of everything that we do. Spent a decent amount in senior living as well, also where service excellence is a huge part of what we do. The interesting part about service and hospitality is they mean different things to different people. We all have our different idea of what that looks like. When you think of service and hospitality, most people think of restaurants, right? Am I right? Does anybody else think of something different? Do you think of something different when you think of hospitality or service?
Hotels.
Hotels.
Resorts?
Resorts,
Yeah.
right? Gas station. You read my mind. That's where I was going next. It's about to date myself. If you're as old as me, you will remember a time when you used to go to a gas station and they would pump your gas for you.
Yes.
And that was the standard. They would pull your hood up. There are certain states that they have it by law. I got in trouble once for pumping my own gas in one of those states.
New Jersey.
It was New Jersey. I got out and let's start pumping my gas, and they came flying out. No, you can't do that. I had no idea. But the standard is you would go there, and there were two lines. You could do just where they would pump your gas, or you could have to pay a little extra. They would pop your hood. They would look at all of your fluids. They would check your air filter. They would check your tires. They would do like a mini inspection on your car through the gas station, right? You used to go to the bank, and it was all about customer service. The last time I went to try to deposit a check at the bank, they took me and they sent me to the big screen and said, "Here, you got a check? Oh, let me take you right over here. You can deposit that right here." I was almost ushered. Don't bother our tellers. And then I found out one bank started charging you to cash a check at the teller. So, other than that, service has really changed over the years. So let's get into service excellence, the forefront living way. So, question is why do we want to focus on service? It creates market differentiation. Excuse me. We can all talk about how we've gone somewhere and the service there was amazing, it was excellent, it was memorable, and there are brands, and we'll get into this a little bit later, there are brands that are known for their service. Sometimes you go somewhere and you would not expect to get service and you get amazing service. It results in highly satisfied residents, employees, and patients. And this is true. If you're creating great service, you have highly satisfied residents and patients, you have highly satisfied employees as well, because they love their job, they love going to it, and they're excited. For those of you who've ever been in a place where you have a bunch of angry residents, you know what that's like. You dread going to your job. You have a bunch of happy residents, it makes it much more enjoyable. It does reduce employee turnover. If you've got people that are bought in and are excited about what they do, they stick with you. And it brings clarity to the mission and vision. So we've all seen, I've worked many places, where you have the mission and vision and it's plastered all over the entrance to the employee and there's a million signs anywhere and no one reads any of them. Because it's not integrated into the culture. And so if you integrate it into the culture and you have regular discussions about it and you focus on it, it really brings that clarity to the mission and vision for what you're doing. It creates a sense of pride and ownership. So this is a big one. You know, some people call it Kool-Aid. I don't drink the Kool-Aid. Right? Some of us have worked. Some people call it the Kool-Aid, right?
Oh, okay.
You know, I don't drink the Kool-Aid. I worked here and everybody was, you know, rah, 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 and it was a little over the top, and that just wasn't my thing, right? And it's not about drinking the Kool-Aid. It's about that sense of pride and ownership and respect. You know, respect yourself, respect the customer and their experience, and respect the business that you work for. There is a great clip, and for those of you who watched The Bear, where they're polishing forks, and the one guy's over it, and he's just kind of halfway doing it. And the manager says, "No, that you missed that one. You need to do that again." And he was like, "Why am I doing this?" And they go outside and they talk about it. And he's like, "I've been doing this for years. Is this really that important?" And he's like, "There is a line of people to get in this restaurant. They are so excited when they get here. They have been on a waiting list for months, and they are expecting this amazing experience. And we have to be excited to be able to present that amazing experience to them. So you have to respect the customer, you have to respect the experience, and you have to respect this amazing business that we have operating." He goes, "Every day is a Super Bowl for us. And that's what the customer is expecting when they come in. So respect yourself and respect what we're trying to produce." So it goes back to that sense of pride and that sense of ownership that, hey, we're trying to create the Super Bowl, and we're not always going to succeed in doing that, but we're trying to create that experience for our residents, for our employees, and for our patients. It's the right thing to do. Right? How many times have you been somewhere and you had somebody just kind of brush you off when you're trying to get something done, right? They're like, "Oh, I'm too busy, I had a tough day, you know, I had a flat tire, I got bad news, this, that, the other thing." That person has no idea any of these things are going on in their life. Is that really their business to know? Not really. You can say, "Sorry, it's been a busy day, but how can I help you?" It's that engagement with them. So what is the difference between customer service, hospitality, and service excellence? I'm trying not to stay just on that side of the room. Mad at me now. I got too far away.
Is that it?
Hold on.
Got it now.
Oh, there we go. So, we've all heard about customer service. It's mechanical, a little bit dated. How many places have you been where it's, "Can you fill the survey out? Can you fill the survey out?" It's that forced customer service. Make sure you fill the survey out before you leave. Hospitality, still good. Showing a little wear, but still a great concept. Service excellence. It's really the sum of all interactions, not just that one particular incident. That's what makes the difference. It's something that allows you to think about from the moment you walked in to the moment you leave. How was my experience? Not every part may be perfect, but it's really how that works. And I will tell you a quick story. So in my career, I met a lady that was a regional for a resort, and she was part of this group that managed a resort on Nevis, which is this little beautiful tropical island, very, very famous place to get away. And her resort that she was a part of was always number 2. And there was another resort that was number 1, and they could never beat them. And they couldn't figure out why. And so her boss got a bunch of people together and just said, we're going to go stay there and figure this out. Because we need to figure out what they're doing that we're not doing. So they all pile in, they go to this resort, and this resort, as you're coming in, there's a gate, and you got to go through the guard gate, and you got to make your way around to the front desk, and so you got to go through a few resort employees before you actually get to the front desk. You get up to the resort, and there's a person opening your car door, there's a person taking your bags, there's a person holding the door open for you as you get in. So you're going through all these employees. They get up to the front desk to check in, there's a couple people in front of them, and he turns to her and he goes, I figured it out. They hadn't even started their stay. And he goes, I figured it out. He goes, we have seen at least 10 employees between when we got to that gate and when we got to this front desk, and everybody has had a warm, genuine greeting for us. There was nothing that felt cold or mechanical or forced. It was all very warm and genuine. And he goes, we don't have that. It's not there. So it wasn't necessarily just the greeting at the front gate or how amazing the room was. It was a sum of all their interactions up to that point of checking in that already told the tale of what they were going to experience. So service versus experience. So service is a series of tangible activities for the benefit of the customer. Experience is a series of memorable events that engage the customer. It's about connection. And there are some businesses that understand that the connection is really the key part of it. It's not about the whole experience, but it's about that connection. So, Hospitality 2.0. In today's world, why is it no longer good enough to just give someone what they want? What happens if we just gave everybody what they want? Anybody got kids?
Just one more.
Yeah? What happens if you just give your kids everything they want? Not good, right? Nope. Yes, they do. They become ungrateful. They haven't earned it. They just, you know what else it does? The event of giving them something special loses its charm. We have an employee that talked about gift giving on birthdays and anniversaries and holidays, and he said, you got to keep the bar kind of low. He goes, that way when you do the big give, it's meaningful, right? So it's not about giving everybody everything they want. And we'll talk about that theme a little bit later in the presentation. And then when you do that, there's a void of genuine connection that leads to that kind of transactional service. Oh, you want iced tea? Here you go. Oh, you want iced tea with this, that, and the other? Here you go. It's like, oh, hey, you want the iced tea? You like 2 Splendas, right? Okay, I got you. Don't worry. I'm taking care of you. So it's about that connection, not that transactional service. And it's about creating memorable experiences for our residents and for our patients, and I would dare say our staff. There's a lot of memories I have from my career that I've done over the years where I've had some wonderful interactions that were very, very memorable that will stick with me. Some good, some bad, and some transformative. I've had very tough interactions, but you know what? It stuck with me, and it made me rethink how I do things, and I'm grateful for those opportunities. So, what does it mean? Let's take a little look and see here. So, the service of a canceled flight versus a luxury flight. Anybody had a flight cancel on them?
Oh, yeah.
What's that experience like?
Chaos.
Yeah? You and the entire plane are trying to figure out where they can get rebooked, right? Awful. Go to a luxury spa, the music's playing, beautiful view, maybe the lighting's great. Very, very different experience, right? But I would dare say that might not be the best example of great service, because not everybody's had the chance to go to a luxury spa. Not everybody has the means to go to a luxury spa. And so we don't want to associate that service is only comparable in an affluent setting, right? Because then it's something that's more of a vague concept that like, well, yeah, but I'm never going to be able to go to a Four Seasons spa and drop $500 or more. Actually, a lot more. The treatments start around $150 and they go up from there. That's the basics, right? So we got to think of something that's more relatable. So the service experience of a Chick-fil-A. Go to Chick-fil-A, you get customer service, right?
Yeah.
My pleasure. A little bit. They're known for it. I've hired a few Chick-fil-A employees. Fantastic service. Very creamy. They do a great job with their turkey. Anyone ever shopped at Elliott's Hardware?
Yeah.
Good Lord, they will take you all the way around that store to help you find what you're looking for. And if you don't even know what you're looking for, they'll help you find it.
That's some service.
They are, and it's not perfect, you know, but I will say that it's a definitely kind of a time warp. You go back into those stores and the people that are in there are friendly. These are people that are not making a high wage. They're not. These are not some luxury affluent resort where they're making a bunch of money and they're paid extremely well. These are just genuinely nice people. I went in there one time looking with a concept of what I was trying to accomplish because my kid, for his projects at school, likes to go above and beyond, and then that's all on Dad to figure out how to make that work and show that how it works, right? So he wanted to hit a food truck he had to build out of cardboard. Well, he wanted to be able to drive his food truck, light it up, and have something that spun along the top.
Oh, yes.
He wanted the headlights, he wanted all these things. He wanted a remote control. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I had to go to Elliott's Hardware because I'm thinking of how I'm going to make this happen. And that young man sat there and we figured it out together. And he gave me all these ideas and we brainstormed. And I think he was more excited than I was about it. Like, kick. And then I took it back to my son and made him do a bunch of work. So, moving on to the next slide that we already showed. So the masters of experiences. So, do we have any Disney fans in here? Do we have any Disney aficionados? Heather? Tell us a little bit about the experience at Disney.
Well, for me, it's magical.
Magic. However, I put a little asterisk on there because what happens when you are the gold standard?
Charge
Is that?
You have to maintain
You
it.
have to maintain it, right? And you have to take fresh approaches and you have to renew it, you know? We've seen articles about Disney. The lines are long. It's gotten expensive. You know, oh my God, I went there and I spent ridiculous amount. I don't have the money to go to Disney anymore. It's just too expensive. And so it's becoming it's becoming less achievable to go to Disney and have a magical experience. They're taking away trash cans or something ridiculous like that, you know? And so to maintain that level, it takes constant renewal and to relook at things and say, you know what can we do differently? How can we refresh things? Because as you start to grow and scale as they have, it's really hard to keep that connection going. There's only one character that runs around the Disney park. You know, they don't have multiples. So if you want to get to breakfast with Mickey, you've got to make sure you reserve that well in advance, and it is not cheap. So I say that with the understanding that yes, they are the master of experience, but there's a caveat to that, and you have to understand that we're not chasing Disney. We are not trying to become the Disney. We are trying to take some of their best practices and put them into our operation and how we do things. How can we look at that and say, well, we can't quite do that, but you know what we can do? We can take the concept and idea of that and incorporate it into what we do. So, how can we elevate the experience and make each moment matter for our guests? And for this next part, I'm going to call on Dustin, who is not present today. He's doing something very important. But he is going to call in, and he is going to do this part. So I'm going to need a volunteer. So we're going to call Dustin, and I'm going to...
They sound very energetic. I'm excited.
All right, so Dustin, can you see the presentation?
I can.
You can. Are you sure about that? All right, Dustin. We're going to get started here. We've got somebody that's going to mime for you just to make sure. So be extra expressive when you describe this, please. All right, Joni.
Not uncomfortable at all.
Let's see. Is the microphone working?
Yep.
It is. All right, try that.
Your speaker's underneath.
That's the bottom.
The bottom? All right, try this now. Give me a hello, Dustin.
Hello.
Yeah, all right, we can hear it? All right, here we go. So, how can we elevate the experience and make each moment matter for our guests? Dustin, take it away.
Hold on, we're right in the middle of the presentation. Oh my God, okay, here we go. We didn't rehearse, I apologize. All right, so if you're going to accommodate the prospect or a visitor that's coming in, let's go through a couple of examples. First example, if you are a family member who has mom, dad in the hospital, and they're looking for a skilled nursing facility to accommodate their loved one's needs, and you go in for a tour, the person that's giving a tour, let's see what correct responses or good responses to make that prospect feel comfortable. First one would be, we are extremely happy to take weekend admissions. So if mom, dad did discharge from the hospital, because you don't really have a say on when they discharge, they could be discharging Saturday, Sunday. It's very comforting to know that you could take the admission on the weekend. However, you can also just make sure you mention, unfortunately, your phone and TV will be installed next Wednesday, depending on availability. And that may be next week. So that's not a real comforting response. It's crafting a response. It's understanding and meeting the customer's needs.
You've never had that happen, have you?
No, never had that happen. We're always 100% on customer service here at PBN. So, and then the second example is, let's say that you have somebody that's looking maybe at assisted living. Maybe I'm doing a closing with an independent living prospect who's about to sign the agreement, and they ask about the weekend, or they ask about activities and programs from a wellness standpoint. And I'm happy to contribute and say, hey, listen, if you look at the calendar, you look at the wellness calendar, we have programs and activities 7 days a week.
Hear that, Shannon?
Programs and activities is what we're emphasizing. But then I have to come back, or I come back with saying, however, because they continue to ask, what kind of programs do you have? Well, I wouldn't necessarily say they're programs, because our activity professionals are only here Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 to meet your needs. So, again, big difference between how we craft our message and explaining, well, listen, if you need some accommodation over the weekend, we can make that happen through different sources and channels. So, two different approaches with customer service.
So this is what marketing's telling you.
Transition to slide 12, and again, just as a reminder, I'm calling from Glencoe, Oklahoma, so just picture, and in the audience, give me a raise of hands, how many have been to Glencoe, Oklahoma?
Boomer!
I got a couple.
Are you serious? Somebody's been to Glencoe? It's like Mayberry without a police station. Cell service is not the best, so hang in there with me. On slide 12, creating the culture.
All right, go to it.
So, are we on that? Okay.
Yes.
So, A is important. The premise.
I think we lost.
Thank you for Steve, Dustin's birthday.
Good job, man.
Poor Dustin.
You kept moving.
Creating the culture. This quote is attributed to Mahatma Gandhi. A customer is the most important visitor on our premises. He's not dependent on us. We are dependent on him. He is not an interruption in our work. He is the purpose of it. He's not an outsider in our business. He's part of it. We're not doing him a favor by serving him. He is doing us a favor by giving us an opportunity to do so. Perception matters. Everyone knows that. I mean, you need to foster a culture of response, not reaction. Reaction equals emotion, and response equals planning. So do what is right, not what is easy.
That's right.
Yeah. And I know, I love the shout outs and the hallelujahs and the
We gonna pass that plate in a second.
Perception reputation. Yes. Okay, so the pillars of service culture. Kind of feel like graphically this is the boring part of the presentation, and I got it, but that's okay. We've got these pillars. Picture Washington, D.C. That's a good example right now.
Yeah, click, 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 click.
Click, click. Hiring the right people.
Yes.
That's first and foremost.
Yes.
Setting people up for success. Consistency in execution. Fostering continued growth.
Click, click.
I did click, click.
There
But I'm not going to click, click again, or else that'll go away. Setting people up for success. Purpose-based orientation for all new teammates. So everyone here has been through orientation. I feel like we have a pretty robust orientation program, and that our new hires learn a lot from that day that they spend here. Consistent training, follow-up training, and recognition programs like Moment Makers. I was at the PVN teammate town hall yesterday, and some very worthy individuals got Moment Maker awards, and it was really great to see that. And to hear the recommendations from their different supervisors and why they got the awards. So, or the recommendation from a resident, there were a couple of those as well, who wrote really amazing, kind letters about why these people were so deserving. So
Awesome.
that's really great to be a part of that and witness that. Consistency and execution. Credo card and standards of service commitments.
May I ask, what is a Credo card?
We have we have a Forefront Living card that has our mission,
They
vision.
haven't received them yet.
Okay. Yeah, there's a great little 3-panel card. It's the size of a business card, so you can have it on you, and it has our values and our vision and kind of a pocket reference.
Thank you.
So you'll get yours sitting. It will be great. And then standards of service and commitments, of course, we have, like I just said, our mission, vision, and values, and they're all very well thought out, and we try to execute them to the best of our ability at all times. So I feel like you can always go back to that if you're not sure what to do. Go back to that Credo card. Aligning people's vision, moments that matter, so that's held every single day. We all are a part of that, depending on where we office. Always a great conversation here in the Wildenthal Center. Anyway, very, very meaningful. And then commitment to cleanliness and physical condition. First impressions, and then holding each accountable for the appearance and condition of the community. I used to work for someone, and he would actually, if he saw a paper clip or a gum wrapper in the parking lot or in the building, he would, and this is the CEO, and I think Tim does that as well, but he would actually bend over and pick it up. Because that's how you keep your property looking great. That's how you're in a 10-year-old building and it looks like it's brand new. It's not because you just let things like that go. Oh. Uh-oh. Did I go too far? I did. I'm sorry.
Let's go
I'm
back
sorry.
up. Back up.
Don't give me a clicker. The mic maybe, but
I
not
think I'm here, right? Yes. Okay.
Great. All right. I think we got this going. We'll see.
Well, now you know the presentation. Thank you for all the.
Okay. We're going to talk about, from a teammate perspective, some things for us to all think about. And it seems pretty basic, but as you're looking at it, Try to smile, try to be engaging with folks. It goes a long way. I know we all have bad days sometimes, but I'm sure all of us have been in that store or in that situation where you run across somebody and they're just grumpy. And you're like, I don't want to be near you. Can't wait to get out of here. As you go through this, you'll see that there are some things, the respectful voice, again, keep your personal stuff, try to get it out of your head, so that whatever's going on, you may want to yell at your kid or yell at your husband about something, but try to remember that we're here to serve another role. Use of formal titles, that's one that I think all of us are guilty of sometimes. Oftentimes there's a familiarity with what we do, and you feel very comfortable calling somebody by their first name. That's fine and dandy if they've given you permission to do it, but you need to keep in mind that perhaps they don't want to be referred that way. It's okay if their buddy who they play cards with calls them that, but maybe they don't want us doing that. And this is kind of what we're calling our rules of engagement. As you are talking to somebody, just try to keep some of these in mind. Obviously, look them in the eye. There's nothing worse. Everybody's been around that young teenager who is down like this the entire time, and you want to go raise your head. Come on, talk to me. It goes a long way with people, and regardless of their situation, they may be in one of our communities, and maybe they're a little frail, maybe they've had a bad day, maybe they took a fall. To have that friendliness of looking somebody in the eye and letting them know, hey, I'm another human. I'm here with you. One of the things I think now as I get older, I'm more conscious of recognizing this, but I tend to see sometimes people who are quite a bit younger, their cadence of speech gets fast. I don't know if somebody's heard somebody and they're like, you want to go here, you want to go to the right, and you want to do this, you want to do, be sure and check this out. And you're just left standing there going, what? Can you slow down? So, as you're talking to people, make sure that you're talking in a cadence that allows them to hear you and kind of process that. We all went through COVID where we weren't shaking hands, we were doing elbow bumps. But, depending on the situation, feel comfortable shaking somebody's hand or reaching out to them. The bottom one, I guess something we've all been taught, when you're in a work environment, don't complain to me unless you have a way to fix it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, and sometimes that's hard to do because you're just frustrated as heck. But if you can think a minute and try to figure that out before you get in that situation. This one, I gotta say, when I first saw it, I thought, oh, this goes against everything from a marketing perspective. Yeah, the customer's always right. Well, the message to this is the customer is the customer. That's the bottom line.
That's right.
At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter who's right or wrong. We need to solve whatever they're struggling with.
You're right.
Yeah.
Whatever the situation is. So, in terms of going through when somebody's angry, and I think we can all relate to situations where that's happened. Somebody is upset about something. And what you want to do is not buy into that, not get your dander up and get all huffy about it yourself. You got to take the personal stuff out and listen to them. In a sales role, we're always taught to kind of mirror somebody, re-clarify what it is they're talking about. repeat it back to them so that you clearly understand the problem. And then, you know, if you tell somebody you're going to call them back,
That's right.
please call them back. Nothing makes people more angry if you say, oh, I'll call you, give me a few minutes, I'll call you back, and then you don't do it. And 2 days later, you see that person, and they are not happy because they know you didn't keep your word. So even if you don't have an answer for them, be courteous and call them back and tell them that. And then you're going to find somebody who will. Now, anybody ever heard of Simon Sinek? Do most people know who he is? He actually, I think when you listen to this, I think you'll become a big fan of his. He has some real common sense stuff he talks about. But I'll play this and let you listen. I think I'm going to play it. Okay. Do I just hit it again, Evelyn? Yeah, it worked.
They have great service or bad service if they got what they want or didn't get what they want, right? But that's not true. I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm on a business trip and my work is done early and I want to go home to my family. I check the website, I see that there's flights available on the earlier flights, and let's call it a day early. And so I call the airline and I say, hey, I'm done early, I'm really late to get home to my family, I see that you've got availability in the earlier flight, can I get on that flight? And the agent says, I'm sorry, you have the wrong class of ticket, I can't change your flight. I'm happy to pay a fee, I'm happy to pay whatever it is, please can I get on that flight? I'm sorry, sir, I told you you have the wrong class of, you have the wrong class, I can't book you, you have the wrong status flight. There's nothing I can do, the computer won't let me do it, okay? I now hate that airline, all right? Okay, let's replay that, okay? Same scenario, hi, I'm done early, love to go home, I see you have availability, can I get on that flight? Sir, I want to get you home to your family. Here's the problem. Your ticket is the wrong class, and so the computer won't let me. But let me see what I can do. I really want to get you home to your family. Click, 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 click. That didn't work. Click, 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 click. That didn't work. Sir, let me talk to my supervisor. I'm determined to get you home to your family. Go away, come back. Sir, I talked to my supervisor. We've tried like 6 different things. There's nothing I can do. I am so sorry. I just cannot get you on that earlier flight. Don't worry. Thank you for trying. I now love that airline even though I didn't get what I want.
Right.
And that's what it feels like when someone cares. It doesn't mean we always get what we want, but what we get is somebody who understands and cares about what we're trying to accomplish. That's considered good service.
Yeah, man. That's good. Doesn't that make sense, right?
Yeah.
So this is something called the hostility curve. And as you look at it, you can kind of see where, when he was talking, what he was doing with that. You know, the first scenario, he's upset, he's trying to figure this out, and the person is just, sorry, we can't help you. So he hangs up mad at that airline. As opposed to the second one, they not only listened, but they were trying, truthfully, to help him and being empathetic in that. So we didn't really solve the problem in that scenario. You know, that's the only thing that didn't get done, but it made him feel better. It made him feel heard.
Yes, heard.
Now I'm going to turn this over to Joni because I think Joni is extremely talented in service recovery.
The harder we try sometimes,
Yes.
it still doesn't go the way we want it to. So if you're in that situation where, you know, somebody is just having a grumpy day, has anybody ever had a bad day? And no matter what people did, it didn't make you feel better? Well, we do get this a lot. I think in this industry, everybody we work with is going through a transition, whether it's independent living, assisted living, skilled nursing, hospice. There's some transition. Some are, like, as you learned in orientation, some are want-based and some are need-based, right? So we just listen. We just need to listen to the experience they're having. And, you know, as Barbara said, you know, using empathy is always the best way. Listen, understand, apologize for the experience. It doesn't mean that you're apologizing like for a wrongdoing. You're just apologizing that they have had an experience that isn't what we expect, right? So apologize and don't try to make excuses. I think that's probably the mistake that all of us at some point have made when we are approached by somebody that's not happy, and you want to say, oh, well, you know, that my team did this or my team did that. That's not what they want to hear, because their experience is that they didn't get what they needed. So no excuses, just listen. And communicate the next steps. I think we mentioned that earlier. You know, even if you can't solve that problem, you're going to say, well, please let me talk to my manager, or please let me look into this more. That makes them feel like at least you're going to investigate and find out what the problem is. If you don't have an answer, still call them back. Call them back and tell them you don't have an answer yet and what the next step is going to be. And follow up. I think this is the one that's the hardest, is to remember to follow up and make sure that whatever it was you promised or felt like was your solution, that it does actually happen. And as we said, it doesn't always go the way we wanted. So is it okay to make mistakes? I mean, it's human, right? We make mistakes, and I'm going to try to get over here a little bit. We do make mistakes, but most things you can fix, some you can't. You must break
I
an egg.
made that mistake.
I'm trying to click more. What does I do? There we go.
You can ask
Yeah.
Diane to help you.
You You must break an egg to make a cake. Okay. Think about that one. Let us know if a mistake was made, and we will work to resolve the issue. This is how we play to win. That line. I think the whole point here today was to talk about the Forefront Living way and how we want to treat people and how we want to be perceived as a community. No matter what area we're in, I think it's really important for us to make sure that we are serving people. We serve each other every day, and we serve others every day, to make sure we do it in a way that represents the organization. And there we go. There's so much more than a service program. It's the Forefront Living way. Excellent. Takes time and dedication. And this last line wasn't mine, but our operations are our operations are not speedboats that turn on a dime. They're more like cruise ships that take time to adjust their course. Questions, comments, experiences? There. It ends and begins with our people. People come into your life for a reason, or a season, or a lifetime.
Yep.
There is a purpose for everyone you meet. Some people come into your life to test you, some to teach you, some to use you, and some to bring out the very best in you. Amen.
Good.
Thank you, everyone.